Hey guys, how's it going? This is Mike from M&R Automotive. Today we have a 2025 Chevy Suburban and we've installed two 40-inch light bars. These light bar kits can also be installed on the 2025 and up Chevy Tahoes. Alright, so in order to install your light bars, I have to show you how to remove the grille. First thing we're going to do is remove this hood latch. It's a T15 socket. So I'm going to remove two bolts. And I'm going to slide the handle forward to disconnect it. Don't set it too far because I like to reinstall it after I take that cover off. So the next step is to remove 9 push pins that are holding the top cover. So in order to remove it, find a little slot for your flathead screwdriver or prying tool. Raise the head of the pin and just scoop under it. With all the push pins removed, you can just lift up the plastic trim and set it aside. So now with the top trim piece removed, we can go ahead and reinstall the latch. Slide it back on and secure it with these Torx bolts. You don't have to do it all the way because when we're assembling everything back, we're going to have to remove it again. The main reason why I like to reinstall it is that if we lower the hood, it's not going to be a nightmare opening the hood back up if the latch is missing. So let's remove 6 10mm bolts on top. Those are these silver ones. So next thing, we're going to take out all the Torx screws that are holding the inner liner. There's 6 of them. I went ahead and turned the wheels towards the driver's side so that way it gives me plenty of space here. And just a reminder, this is a T15 Torx socket. We can go ahead and peel back the liner. There's 3 bolts here that are going downward to separate the fender from the bumper. It's a number 7 socket. You got to remove the outer one. And these 2 inner ones, you can just loosen it, but you don't have to remove them. The outer one, you do. It's hard to get the camera in here, but you could easily feel them. There's one here, there's one in the middle, and one towards the end. So this is one of them. This is the one I removed, and these 2, I'll just loosen them a little bit. I'll loosen it maybe like 5 turns. There's clips here, so you just want to make sure that it goes over it. Okay, now I got the middle one, and now I'm going to work on the one that's furthest. This is the hardest one to get to. You just have to feel it with your finger and slip a socket on it. All right, so now that I loosened them, I'm just gonna go ahead and pry it. So if you see here, this one is a hole. This is the one we're gonna remove. And these 2, they just get loosened because it's just clips that go over tabs. So the last thing on the driver's side, and there's one more 10mm bolt that we have to remove. So double check to make sure there is no harnesses here. On this trim package, the Z71, we didn't see any harnesses to disconnect. But when we did the prototype on the GMC Yukon Denali, there was a harness that we had to remove, and these trucks are very similar. So this trim package didn't need it, but double check to make sure that yours doesn't have any harnesses. That needs to be unclipped as well. Now let's do the same thing on the passenger side. Let's remove all the Torx screws. All right, we're gonna peel back the liner. We're gonna use a 7mm socket to take out this bolt. So I removed the outer one and I'm loosening the middle one. And now I'm going to loosen the last one here. So when you loosen it, there's a plate that actually goes down and gives you the slack that you need to separate them. There you go, see? So that plate went down and loosened up the whole side. So now I'm going to remove that 10mm bolt. So on the passenger side, there's 2 harnesses that we have to unclip. There's a small one and there's a large one right above it. First thing I'm going to do is just unclip these clips so that way I can have better access to it. So this is the small one. I got under it with a prying tool and I'm just wiggling it to unclip it. So that way we can take it out here and separate it. So this one has a red tab. So what you want to do, you want to push down on it with your fingernail. It unclips. And now we push on this lever, press down and separate. So push and separate. Okay, so the small one's done. So now I want to show you the larger one. I think it has one of these plastic clips that holds it to this metal frame. So you just want to pry it away. So we separated it. And these are a little bit more tricky. So these are a little bit different. There is a tab. You want to push it down. It unlatches from this mark here. You actually want to slide this gray piece down towards the red tab. And when it does that, it will come apart. All right, so we did everything on the passenger side. Let's go ahead to the bottom of the truck. So now we're gonna remove 4 7mm bolts on the bottom. So to summarize, we got all the bolts removed from the top. We got everything from the inside of the fender wells, including the wiring harness. And we have everything on the bottom unscrewed. So now we're gonna remove the grill. So I do wanna show you there's 2 tabs, one on each side. So what you wanna do, you actually wanna go on top of it and unclip it from the top. So you gotta pull up and towards yourself. See, unclipped. Unclipped. There we go. So that loosens the top. So now we're going to unclip all the clips from the body panels. Here, I'm gonna do the same thing here. There's a couple more. There it is. Same thing on this side. There it is. So with the M&R kit, you're gonna get a set of brackets. You're going to get a driver's side and a passenger side, and they're identified with a D and a P. So we're going to start on the driver's side first. So if you look on the side of the headlight, there's 3 bolts here. 2 of them are for the headlight, and 1 of them is for the active shutter shroud. We're going to remove the middle one, and we're going to rethread that same bolt into the M&R bracket. So we're going to grab a D for driver's side bracket, and we're going to install it. Now we're going to do the same thing on the passenger side. So middle bolt, take it out, and we're going to rethread it through the M&R bracket and reinstall it. So now we can install either 1 or 2 slim 40-inch light bars. I grabbed my first light bar to install. Notice that the wire coming out of the light bar, we're going to have that on the passenger side. This is where the power is, and that's where we're going to have the power distribution box connected. So that's the main reason why I want to have it on the passenger side, so that way I don't have to drag it across. So I'm going to use the supplied hardware to attach the light bar to the M&R brackets. That's 1, and that's 2. You can align it up and down to fit your grill design. So on the Z71, we're going to mock it up like this. You can also slide it up for a different slot in the grill, and that's just personal preference. Let's go check out the alignment of the light bar with this grill style. All right, so because it was too low and we didn't tighten it all the way, I'm going to go ahead and raise it a little bit. So now that I like this position of the grill, I'm going to go ahead and remove it and tighten those side bolts. Perfect. So if you only have 1 light bar, you're pretty much done. Just feed the wiring right next to the headlight into the engine bay. And we can continue by putting the front end back on and providing power to your light bar. If you have 2, I'm going to show you exactly how to install the second one. So now we're going to do the same thing with the second light bar. So now with the top light bar slightly tightened, I am going to leave it a little bit of a gap up top. I'm going to test fit the grill because there are little clips that go around this metal trim piece. I want to make sure that they clear and go inside. So I'll be able to adjust it with the grill on. So same thing like the other light bar. I'm going to feed this through right next to the headlight and get this in the engine bay. Great, so the light bar alignment looks good. I'm going to go ahead and tighten the sides. So let's put the grill back on. So we do want the light bar all the way on top, but when you're closing it, there's these little tabs that are going to be hitting the light bar. What you want to do is just pry them up a little bit, and that'll close. And that's on all of them. Up, up. There you go. Start from the side, and kind of work your way this way. All right. So now that we got the 2 light bars installed, we're going to work in reverse order to get everything back together and get to wiring. So now that we have the wiring in the engine bay, let's provide power for them. If your vehicle comes with factory auxiliary switches, you can provide your power sources directly by connecting into those auxiliary switches. If your vehicle is not equipped with factory auxiliary switches, such as the one we're working on today, we're actually going to use the M&R wireless wiring controller. It connects to the battery, and you're able to control your accessories using a wireless remote. Let me show you how to assemble it. So let me show you what you get with a wireless 2.0 kit. 2 power cables, a ground cable, the ACC wire, some terminal contacts and mounting hardware, M&R remote, 100 amp fuse, the actual module, mounting zip ties. Okay, so first thing we're going to do, let's open up the module. So we're going to take out these 4 Allen screws. So now we can take off the cover. Looking at this module, you have a couple things you want to notice. There's a positive terminal, there is a negative terminal, you have 8 different circuits, and they're all labeled here with auxiliary 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, with appropriate amp fuses, and you also get 3 trigger wires. If you choose to use the ACC wire, you would plug it in onto the first terminal here. ACC, all it does is when you get ignition, it'll turn on, it'll wake up the unit if it goes into sleep mode. We actually don't use it. The unit wakes up on its own if it feels your battery is fully charged. So the ACC wire, this one's optional. So let me show you how to assemble the fuse, and we're going to connect that to the positive terminal. So you have 2 terminals. You have one that goes towards the battery. You have one that goes towards the module. And there's a brake button in here. So if you press this button, it actually disengages power going through it. So I like to actually reset it and then turn it on towards the end of our install. So reset, and let's connect the 2 power terminals. So one of them is labeled BAT. That's going to be the one that goes towards the battery. So I'm going to take one of the power cables. I'm going to slide it under this nut, and I'm going to tighten it. So the side that says BAT here, that's going to go towards the battery. On the second side, it says AUX, load. So this is the side that you want towards your module. So same thing, I'm going to loosen it. I'm going to slide the terminal underneath the nut, and I'm going to tighten it. So the side where it says load, we're going to connect this terminal onto the positive terminal of the module. So I'm going to slide it underneath. The main reason you want to slide it underneath here is because there's going to be a cover on top. We're going to loosen the BAT positive terminal, and we're going to put this wire with a fork under this bolt. So now I'm going to tighten it. So now we have a power to the cable. This end is going to be connected to the positive terminal of the battery. We're going to do the same thing with a ground, which is the thin wire. And this ground only operates the module, so you cannot connect other grounds to it like your light bar accessories. We're going to take this, slide it under as well. We're going to loosen this terminal. And we're going to tighten it. So now we have assembled a power, ground, and an inline fuse. Just a reminder, after you have everything connected to the battery, positive and negative terminal, unless you put the switch in line, there's not going to be any power going through it. So this is the off position, and this is the on position. So now we can go ahead and install this on the truck. Now we're in the engine bay. I can take off this cover to get access to the battery. So first, let's go ahead and get a positive for our control module. So we're going to use this as our power supply. It's a 13mm nut that we're going to loosen. We're going to go ahead and slide this terminal underneath that nut, and we're going to go ahead and tighten it. So now we can put this cover back on, since we already have the positive. This leaves us with connecting the ground. So we can get it off the negative battery terminal. It's a 10mm. So one thing I want to point out, when you do connect the ground, you're going to have a little green light that flashes. That means that the system is getting power. See, it turned on here. So now we can connect our light bar wires to the module. So if you purchase a single function light bar, your light bar is going to have 2 wires. It's going to have a red wire, which is the positive for the main function of the light, and you're going to have a black wire, which is the ground. If you purchased a dual function light bar, you're actually going to get 3 wires. You're going to get a black wire, which is the ground. You're going to get a red wire, which is the positive for the main function, which is powerful white light. But you're also going to get a white wire, and that's the positive for the amber backlighting. It's a low intensity amber that you can use as daytime running lights. So for the dual function light bars, you're actually going to need to provide 2 power sources, where for a single function light bar, only 1. So I'm going to go ahead and take my light bar. These are the 2 positive wires, the red and white. I'm going to feed it through the bottom of the module, because we're going to have a cover on top. So I'm going to use switch number 1 for the red wire. That's going to be the main function. Tighten it. And I'm going to use switch number 2. That's going to be the back low. Now for our second light bar, it only needs 1 power source. So I'm going to feed it right underneath it. And we're going to connect it to switch number 3. Perfect. So the 2 black cables, that's going to be our ground. What we can do, we can strip them. And we can put 1 eyelet on them. That's going to be our ground. So for the ground, all you have to do is either connect it to the negative terminal of the battery, or you could use any of the chassis bolts that go to the frame. I think it's easier in our case to actually go directly to the battery and connect it to the negative ground terminal. We're going to remove the nut, we're going to slide the terminal, and we're going to tighten it. Perfect, so now we can go ahead and test it. So switch number 1, that's going to be the powerful white light. Switch number 2, that's going to be the low intensity amber DRL. And switch number 3, that's going to be the high intensity amber. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and got the confidence that you need to install this product yourself. I know you guys are going to absolutely love it.